Good afternoon. It is my honor to welcome you to the Clinton Presidential Center for this very special ceremony. My name is Stephanie Street, and I serve as Executive Director of the Clinton Foundation. We are here today to celebrate 42 of you who will in just a few moments become citizens and join the diverse tapestry that makes up the fabric of this nation and what truly makes it great. Before we begin, I'd like to take a few moments to acknowledge the dignitaries and special guests who are joining us today. Judge Lee Radofsky, United States District Judge of the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Arkansas. Representative French Hill, our Congressman from the 2nd CD. Little Rock Mayor Frank D. Scott Jr., and the 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton. This year, our nation is celebrating the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. This historic milestone is an opportunity to pause and reflect on our nation's past, honor the contributions of all Americans, and look ahead towards our shared future. Throughout the year, the Clinton Center is commemorating America's 250 by presenting programs and activities that are designed to inspire everyone to discover how their skills and talents can propel American democracy forward. And I can't think of a better way to celebrate America 250 than welcoming 42 new citizens. In addition to ceremonies like this one that celebrates new American citizens, the Clinton Center provides ongoing support to others who are still on the journey towards citizenship. We do this through a partnership with the New York Historical Society and Arkansas United, a nonprofit dedicated to empowering immigrants through advocacy, service, and preparation for their naturalization test. This work supports them on their path to citizenship with the ultimate goal of participating in a ceremony like this one today. This is a special day for you, your families, and our shared future as Americans. We thank you for your example of commitment and dedication. We applaud you for the courage you've demonstrated and the sacrifices you've made to arrive at this momentous occasion. We encourage you to continue contributing the richness of your culture and traditions to the vibrancy of the true American experience. The United States of America is made better because of your contributions to it, because you now hold the greatest title of all, citizen. Congratulations and welcome.
All rise. The United States District Court for the Eastern District of Arkansas, the Honorable Lee P. Radofsky, United States District Judge presiding. All who have business before this court draw near, give your attention, and you will be heard. May God save these United States and this honorable court. Court is in session.
Everybody, please remain standing for the presentation of the colors and the national anthem.
once so proudly we hailed, at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Hey, read. Colors. Older. Colors. Ready. Cut. Forward. Colors. Colors.
Everybody be seated, please. So first, a giant thank you to the Catholic High School Marine Corps Junior ROTC Senior Color Guard, and of course to our amazing court choir, Judicial Harmony. You were all fantastic last year when I was here in the audience, and you are fantastic this year again, so thank you. How truly wonderful it is to be with you all here today. And I really do mean truly wonderful. I was telling somebody before, earlier today, naturalization ceremonies are without a doubt the best thing that we judges get to do. So many times we see people on the worst day or one of the worst days of their life. But at naturalization ceremonies, we get to see people on one of the best days, or maybe the best day of a person's life. As I was thinking about what to say today, a particular blessing from my faith tradition kept popping into my head. And it's the blessing that we Jews say on very special occasions. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has granted us life, sustained us, and importantly, enabled us to reach this occasion. I thank God not only that you all have made it to this day, that you become fully part of the American family, but that I, along with President Clinton, get to be the one to welcome you into that family with open arms. It is both an honor and a privilege. I also want to thank the broader Arkansas community for turning out today. First and foremost, of course, President Bill Clinton. But we also have with us Congressman French Hill, Little Rock Mayor Frank Scott, Chief United States Bankruptcy Judge for the Eastern District and Western District of Arkansas, Phyllis Jones, retired Arkansas Supreme Court Justice Annabelle Imber Tuck, Clerk of the Court for the Eastern District of Arkansas, Tammy Downs, Dean of the Bowen Law School, Colin Crawford, Dean of the Clinton School of Public Service, Dr. Victoria DeFrancesco Soto, Executive Director of the Clinton Foundation, Stephanie Street, Rabbi Barry Block from Congregation B'nai Israel, and many more. All of your presences here today and your choice to take the time out of your busy lives to be here is a testament to the importance and the joy of this day. And that's true of everyone from the community that is with us as well. I know that all of you, like me, are very excited to be here to support our soon-to-be American brothers and sisters. In a little while, you will get to watch 42 people from 19 different countries become Americans. This group includes 2 sets of siblings. It also includes a mother and son pair. And it even includes an employee of the Clinton Foundation. I invite you to watch closely the faces of these 42 people as they take the oath of allegiance, as they are introduced as new citizens, and as they recite the Pledge of Allegiance for the first time as Americans. Through their pride, their smiles, and maybe even their tears, I invite you to think about how lucky we truly are to be Americans, and the pride that each of us have, and each of us should have, in this country of ours. Before going much further, it's important to acknowledge that this day and this ceremony would not be possible without the incredibly hard work of the Clinton Foundation, its staff and volunteers, the Clinton Presidential Center, its staff and volunteers, our court staff under the leadership of Chief Judge Christine Baker and Clerk of Court Tammy Downs, my courtroom deputy Heather Clark, Special Judicial Assistant Corey Wilkins, the entire United States Marshal Service for the Eastern District of Arkansas, the United States Secret Service, and all of the civil groups and government partners that you got a chance to see outside hosting tables here for us. On behalf of myself and the new 42 Americans and everyone else here today, thank you very much for making this happen. I also want to acknowledge Girl Scout Troop numbers 6879 and 6224. I am so incredibly happy that you are here with us today to learn more about how government works. And I must admit that my eyes got a little watery every time I read a new one of the letters that you had written to our 42 new citizens. I want to specifically call out Dakota. Dakota is one of our Girl Scouts here today, and an amazing story I heard is that May 1st, 1979, so today in 1979, Dakota's grandfather became a United States citizen here in the Eastern District of Arkansas. And I think it's great, Dakota, that 2 generations later, you're helping us welcome new citizens. I also want to acknowledge Mr. Daniel from Episcopal Collegiate. Mr. Daniel teaches some of our Girl Scouts, or many of our Girl Scouts, and we're glad to have him with us here today as well. Okay, so I am keenly aware that the number of people here today to hear me speak is 0. And I say that both with full confidence and also with a wife and 3 kids in the audience. But I do want to share with our soon-to-be new Americans a quick thought or two on the privilege and duty they are about to accept. First, I think it's fair to say that we Americans are a rowdy bunch. We argue, we debate, we protest, we litigate, we disagree amongst ourselves vociferously on nearly every issue. Sometimes, honestly, it can all seem a little too much and make even the best of us want to retreat into our houses and, well, I guess, watch The Bachelorette or something mind-numbingly similar. But I urge you, our new citizens, not to do that. I urge you to remember that we Americans are such a rowdy bunch because what we say and what we do matters. We have no king, no ruling class that decides things for us. We, the people, get to decide. Even on the most important questions facing society. That is unlike most other places in the world, and it is a very, very precious thing. We're such a rowdy bunch because we care passionately about the choices our country makes and about the way those choices will affect each of us, each of our children, our fellow Americans, and the world. You are now part of that legacy. And you now have the same moral obligations that all the rest of us have to help steer this country in the direction we believe it is wisest to go. I ask you, as I would ask every American, to exercise this obligation carefully, thoughtfully, calmly, in good faith, with humility, and with an openness to the possibility that those who think differently from you might sometimes have the better of the argument. But however you choose to discharge this obligation, I implore you to do it as often as you can. Your thoughts and your voices are just as important as the rest of ours. On September 18, 1787, as the Constitutional Convention was coming to a close, a woman asked Benjamin Franklin what type of government the convention had settled on. Dr. Franklin's now famous answer was, "A republic, if you can keep it." Our forebearers have kept the torch of this republic burning through good times and bad for nearly 250 years. It now falls to each of you, as much as it does to me, as much as it does to President Clinton, as much as it does to any of us here today, to help keep it burning for another 250. So, as you embark on your American journey, think hard about what makes America, America. What is the heart and soul of this great country? For me, the greatest definition of America comes from our first president, George Washington. In his letter of 1790 to the Hebrew congregation in Newport, Rhode Island, quote, "It is now no more that toleration is spoken of as if it were the indulgence of one class of people that enjoyed the exercise of their inherent natural rights. For happily, the government of the United States, which gives to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance, requires only that they who live under its protection should demean themselves as good citizens in giving it on all occasions their effectual support." A little later in the letter, "May the children of the stock of Abraham who dwell in this land continue to merit and enjoy the goodwill of the other inhabitants, while everyone shall sit in safety under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid." Or, perhaps even put better by Clark Tucker, one of our Girl Scouts, in her note to our new citizen, quote, "Here are some of my favorite things about America: freedom, equality, faith, and the food is really good." With deep admiration for all the hard work you've done to get here, for your desire to become Americans, and for the fact that you followed the laws and rules in seeking to join our country, I congratulate you very much on what is about to happen next. Mr. Ruben Soto, Officer of the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, is now recognized for one or more motions.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the Court, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services within the Department of Homeland Security notified 42 persons representing 19 different nationalities to appear before the court this afternoon for the administration of the Oath of Allegiance proceeding. Of those so notified, all have responded to the call of roll on service list 250. 5 of the persons here present before the court have requested to have their name changed as part of these naturalization proceedings. These requests appear to the service to be reasonable, and the service offers no objection. The appropriate orders have been prepared, and on the applicant's behalf, the service respectfully moves that those requests be granted as part of these proceedings.
Those motions are granted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Each of the persons here present before the court has been examined by an officer of the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Each has been found to be a person of good moral character, attached to the principles of the Constitution, and well disposed to the good order and happiness of the United States. Each has demonstrated a satisfactory knowledge of history and government of the United States, and has further met the requirements of the law concerning the ability to read, to write, and to speak the English language. It is the conclusion of the service that each of the persons here present before the court in all respects are qualified for naturalization. On behalf of the government of the United States of America, I respectfully move that each of the persons here assembled be admitted to citizenship upon taking the prescribed oath of allegiance.
Those motions are granted as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Would all those taking the oath please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me? I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or of which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations. You may all be seated. The court is now going to recognize Ms. Genevieve Gilbert, staff attorney for the United States District Court, for the introduction of new citizens. When your name is called, I'll want each citizen to rise. Additionally, this is the right time for the students from our Girl Scout troop, numbers 6879 and 6224, to come up and get ready to present the new citizens with their letters.
May it please the court. New citizens, congratulations. Please stand as I announce your names and countries of origin. Antijazik, Canada. Phung T. Q. Lu, Vietnam. Cynthia Hitlali Garcia Chavez, Mexico.
Oops.
Pedro Ramirez Jimenez, Mexico. Justin Paul McGoldrick, Australia.
So girls, let me stop you for 1 second. Why don't we have the girls on the right do it, and then we'll have the girls on the left do it. But for now, this is fine. You're here. You can stay.
Marta Elizabeth Lopez Calle, Ecuador.
Thank you.
Christian Guy Charlebois, Canada. Trong T. Teng, Vietnam. Saida Gabriela Beck, Mexico. Esra Erdin, Turkey. Maria de Jesus Huerta, Mexico. Emilze Martinez de Aldana, Colombia. Ian Clive Reason, United Kingdom. Domingo Yax Cumes, Guatemala. Claudia Dixon, Germany.
You all can clap. It's okay.
Jacob Moreno Robles, Mexico. Jean Ho Lee, Taiwan. Joana Pedraza Munoz, Mexico. Mirna Selena Fuentes, El Salvador. Ángel Pablo Vélez Ibarra, Mexico. Petra Monica Eich, Germany. Dharmesh Kumar Patel, India. Henry Hermitas Bautista Cotto, Honduras. Patricia Diaz Fonseca, Mexico. Selby Altiaeva, Turkmenistan. Cynthia Sarai Martinez Mandujano, Mexico. Juan Martin Martinez Mandujano, Mexico. Sonia Guadalupe Peña Molina, El Salvador. Isis Johanna Peña Vasquez, El Salvador. Lu San Endup, Burma. Amos Pick, Burma. Brian Chalcroft, United Kingdom. Vikrant Vijay, India. Aston George Gore, Australia. Hua Liu, China. Xing Yu, China. Shamira Nicole Oyamaja, Nigeria. Saranya Raitoko, Thailand. Natalia Arceli Martinez Galdames, El Salvador. Quen Minh Phan, Vietnam. Maria Lourdes Vaca, Mexico. And Jesus Benitez Duran, Mexico.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Gilbert. Can we have all of our new citizens rise again so we can all celebrate you? Okay, you can be seated now. I've introduced my fair share of speakers in my life, and there are a number of times where I have sort of used the standby which says, you know, this speaker needs no introduction. Amazingly, this time it's really true. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege and deep honor to introduce the 42nd President of the United States, President Bill Clinton.
Thank you very much. Judge, first of all, thank you for presiding over this ceremony. And I thank those who sang our national anthem and others who have already played their role in this naturalization ceremony. And thank you for bringing your family. One of his children asked me today, what was your real favorite subject in school? So I said I liked history, which is true, and I said I really liked math because there were ways of checking to see whether you were right or wrong. And this country is now the longest continuously functioning democracy in human history. We always need to check if we're wrong. Like any person, any family, any business, any work. Today, I had the chance to take a walk out here with one of our new citizens who has worked for the Clinton Foundation and Library here for a decade. And we got to talk about his journey from Mexico to see his daughter, who was then in California, to Arkansas. All of you had some journey which brought you to this point. And I think it would have been much more interesting for the audience if we had just heard all four of you, two of you, come up and in 2 or 3 sentences tell us about your journey. From the beginning of human history, when people lived in caves and came out and learned to get along with people in nearby caves without killing each other. Whether we survived and thrived as human beings depended in no small measure on whether we were willing to look at people who were different than us and see ourselves and our loved ones in their eyes. To see that our differences make life much more interesting. I mean, I'm very sensitive about this now because I remember when I was in college being bored by old gray-haired white guys. And I woke up one day and I was one. And I am glad to see that my demographic has not been entirely banished from this audience or from our country. But all of human history, in a way, can be seen in terms of the struggle we have had to make to look at people who look differently than we did, live differently than we did, and may have opinions very different than ours. And here we are, looking at each other in the eye. What are we going to do about this? At various points in history, there have been good reasons for the differences people had with each other. And it has been understandable if those differences led to conflict. But the United States was an attempt to build a world for our children that everyone could be a part of. If they could agree on a basic set of rules about how we would treat each other, then if we could agree that we were bound to follow our own rules, just like everybody else, that somehow we might learn to preserve peace and unleash our ability to cooperate. And it's lasted for 250 years this year. There have been stabs at democratic governance before we showed up. In the 10th century, the 900s, the Icelanders had a parliament, but they couldn't preserve their democracy without interruption all the way to the present day. It's an astonishing country, Iceland. And I always loved going there. In general, it's more homogeneous than America, and it's a lot smaller. And it's totally fascinating. But they found it difficult to keep democracy going. Everybody has. Because sooner or later you reach these points where people think all that matters are our differences. Now, our differences are really important. That is, this country wouldn't be where we are today if we hadn't found a way to highlight and nourish those differences. But we also would not be where we are if we hadn't found a way to live with and take advantage of those differences. Every generation faces some kind of challenge to embrace difference and to take advantage of it without being torn apart. Every single one. Hillary and I now live in a little town in New York. It's about 20 miles north of New York City. We have opened in our town with about 3,600 people. It's on the way to New York City from everybody that lives beyond us. We have opened 5 new restaurants in the last year. All good. All 5 of them belong to Kosovar Albanians. All 5 of them. We now have the largest population of Albanians in New York outside of Albania. and Kosovo, which is inside and surrounded by Serbia. And it's nice for me because one of the things I did when I was president was to try to keep the Kosovars from being destroyed by the Serbs, and so most of them every now and then give me dessert when I'm at a restaurant. But I thought about that because one of those restaurants is a taco place, not a European restaurant. And the people that work there, Hillary loves to eat these tacos on the weekend, so I'm always shuttled out the door to go pick up the tacos. And the people who cook the tacos are from Mexico and Guatemala. And the woman who manages the restaurant is from Serbia. And the owner is a Kosovar Albanian. How we get edible tacos, I don't know. We're laughing about this, but you think about it. Think about the war that was waged and nearly destroyed hundreds of thousands of people between the Serbians, who were Orthodox Christians, the Croatians, who were Roman Catholic, and the Bosniaks, who were Muslims. And they were brought together in Sarajevo hundreds of years ago and got along great for 500 years, and one day they just decided they couldn't bear each other anymore. Those are the kinds of decisions people are making all over the world today. And we're all being thrown together. And we have had the biggest movement of people across national borders in the last 20 years since the end of World War II. So you may not think that whether you live in Arkansas or Matamoros should have that kind of a difference, but this is important. We all should be thinking today about what do we get out of our differences, what do we have to give because of our differences, and which is more important. When I was president, one of the most important things I was able to do, and I'm very grateful because I'm not a scientist, so I'm not taking credit, but I did spend $2 or $3 billion of your tax money, now that you're a citizen, to finish the sequencing of the human genome. And just yesterday in the papers, there was a picture of a little boy, a baby boy, who was born stone deaf because of a rare condition. You read about it, didn't you? And it turned out he was born with this. And because of what we learned in unpacking the genome, a simple surgery gave him his hearing for the first time. And they explained how some people got better hearing, but not quite as good as he did, and it was life. There were all kinds of things that happened. But the point is, we were making progress. That was uneven because we're different biologically. So if you're like me and you are fascinated by politics, a lot of it is, how do you get the benefit of cooperation and reap the benefits of your interesting differences? According to the people who sequenced our genome, we're all about 99.5% the same, which includes having between 1% and 4% of our genomes directly inherited from the Neanderthals, pre-humans. And it came as no surprise to Hillary when it was printed in a paper that men were 4% Neanderthal. But it came as a great surprise to her that so were women. We're having fun with this, but you see where I'm going, don't you? What has all this got to do with, are we going to have yet another war in the Middle East? Do we really want to use the Strait of Hormuz as a killing field to make sure some people get something and other people don't that everybody needs? I listened carefully and I read this morning where all of you were from. We have at least one Burmese citizen. I've been to Myanmar. I have tried to solve the difficulties there. Every place in Africa represented, I've been to. We've got an amazing irony today in every country, but especially in the African countries that have dealt with AIDS, something I've worked on for more than 25 years now. We've almost found a cure for AIDS, something that we dreamed of. I remember announcing the developments of the first drugs in AIDS that we could give people and guarantee that they wouldn't die. They could have a normal life. So we put millions of people on these drugs, and we all worked hard. I worked very hard with President George W. Bush, who became a great friend of mine, and our libraries work together with people like you now. And we were really thrilled that we could get all these medicines to people and that they would live, and more people would do it. So now we've stopped helping the people who have to have this medicine to stay alive, but we're trying to get over my opposition and his. But then we're still committed to giving this new medicine to people if they take it. So far, nobody has ever gotten AIDS. It's got a pretty name, lenacapavir. Take 2 shots a year so far in all the areas flooded with people with AIDS. No one has ever gotten it. So this is what it means to be an American. What would you do? Do you care? How will you judge someone in a position of power? What should Congressman Hill do? That's what democracy is about. Dealing with all these new things that are happening every day. If the congressman votes to put more money into this to save more lives, what should the mayor say? If he says, oh, but you don't understand, our bigger problem is that our schools don't have enough money. In other words, every single day, if you're going to be a free person in a democracy, you have to make hard choices. or you have to say, I don't know enough about this. Whatever they do, I will trust them. That's what Benjamin Franklin partly meant when he said, a republic if you can keep it. In a republic, it's a democracy in the sense that everybody gets the power to vote on who's in. It's a republic in the sense that most decisions that affect us all run through some elected body. Somebody who knows more. I used to tell everybody who worked for me in the White House, nobody will ever get fired here for coming into this office and honestly looking me in the eye and telling me something I don't want to hear and disagreeing with me. You are here because there's something you know more about than I do. It's a complicated world, but it's the world you've chosen to be in. You said, I kind of like America. I've seen the way it works. It's not perfect. But it works. If we follow the same set of rules, and if we don't ask other people to shoulder burdens of citizenship we refuse to shoulder, and if we find ways to take advantage of our differences. So that's what I ask you to think about today. We've been doing this a long time, 250 years. And at various times, we have decided that after much fighting, we would keep on doing it the way we're doing it. But there have been more times when I was a kid, we went through the McCarthy era where people had to go around trying to prove they weren't communists. And there was an attempt to keep certain people from coming to America. We have a big Chinese colony in my little hometown, and a lot of other Asians, and there's controversy about that now, only because of the technology revolution. Who's got what, who knows what, who's sharing what with somebody else. We're all going to have to figure out that. I'm not asking all of you to learn something I hardly know anything about. But I know one thing, in my lifetime and in human history, as nearly as I can tell, nobody has ever taken any big scientific discovery and said, we're going to put this in the trash can and not take any advantage of what was good about it because it's so dangerous. We've never been able to turn away from something like that. But the truth is, we don't know what we're going to do with artificial intelligence. You know, I saw two things on the internet where I was discussing the crisis in Iran. And it wasn't me, but it sure sounded good. Except for a couple of sentences, which I never would have said. So I say, what am I supposed to do? Do a post and say, I love that phony me, except for those two sentences. We're laughing, but this is the world we're living in, right? So in this country, we have to find a way to preserve free speech and free inquiry and find out who we're supposed to trust and sort this out. Or we can just fight about it and call each other names. I think that's a really bad idea. I want to say one other thing. I'm glad you're here for another reason. It's totally selfish. For the last several years, our birth rate has been below replacement level. That is, we don't have enough babies among native-born families to keep our population constant. And we grew for a long time after, say, the European countries stopped growing. But this is a common problem now. And we need young people. And we need to keep replenishing what makes America work. We cannot do that without immigrants. There is no way. We need you. Those of you who are young, those of you who are rising, those of you who are like me, we need you all. This is still a great country. I know it gets frustrating. Some days I wake up and I don't know what to think. Some days I wake up and I think about arguments I had with our current president 25 years ago when I thought I was through with politics for good, and I never thought about him moving from television to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. All kinds of things happen in life. If you're a citizen, you do not have the luxury to say, I don't like those guys, I'm just not going to do anything. I wish something else had happened, but I can't do anything about it. That's not true. Your voice matters. Your opinion matters. Your feeling matters. And you matter. And that's the last thing I will say about this. We dared to try to create a government where everybody mattered. And to believe that we could keep doing it if we were willing to say we all got to live under the same set of rules. And we've been fighting over that and what that means from the beginning. And I will close with this. I had an opportunity once when I was president to run in the morning with and host for breakfast this big, muscular, handsome man who was the president of the Southern Baptist Convention, of which I was a member. I was raised in that church. And he was very dismayed because he did not agree with a lot of my positions. But he couldn't have been nicer, and we had a great run. And then he looked at me, and he said, I have one question for you, and I want you to give me not a political answer. Just say yes or no. And here is your challenge as a citizen. He said, do you believe the Bible is completely true, yes or no? No, don't be a politician on me. Literally true. And I said, I believe it's completely true, but I don't think either you or I or anybody who has ever lived or will live will understand it completely. And he said, you're being a politician. I said, no, I'm not. I'm being somebody who reads it all. And there's a provision in the Christian Bible where often read at weddings. Love is slow to anger, not jealous, and all, you've all read it. The most important thing is, and this is something I ask you to remember, in being kind to your fellow citizens. Where St. Paul says, in this life, we see through a glass darkly. We get to the other side, which happens sooner a lot, then we see face to face. In this life, we only know in part. That's real life. This judge has to decide cases all the time, knowing full well he may have all the facts, but there's something he doesn't know about the parties that are before him. So I ask you to remember that too. It is well to be charitable to your fellow citizens and to remember that we're dealing with a lot of problems now. And we got to figure out how to live with it. And it's not like the math problems, where there is one clear, only answer on everything. So I ask you to remember to be kind to those who differ with you, and to keep your children and your grandchildren brave, going out there every day in, day out, trying to learn something new, be something new, do something new. And remember how you came to this day, and try to help everyone to make a similar journey. It doesn't take long to live a life. I was walking on the bridge today, and I looked up and I saw a man that I was in law school with. 54 years ago. He lives in Seattle now. He then lived in Portland, Oregon. I was stunned. Things are happening in a hurry. Please find a way to make the most of every day. Find a way to have arguments and be different without hating people. Find a way to remember that we can live together only if we believe our differences are important, but our common humanity matters more. When you swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, remember, a lot of people gave their lives for it to last for 250 years. And for it to last another 250 years, for your grandchildren and your grandchildren to have that life, we're going to have to find a way to stand up for what we believe without hating people who disagree with us. That's what's going on all over today. Everybody has to decide which is better, cooperation or conflict, addition or subtraction. I don't think it's a close question. When I was a little boy growing up in Hot Springs, Arkansas, which was set aside as the first national reserve before we had a national park system, we were the only town in the South with 30,000 people in 2 synagogues. And we had a Greek Orthodox church. And a lot of other things. But we like being different and learning from one another. So that's what I leave you with. Now, what Benjamin Franklin said all those long years ago, 250 years ago, to that lady, is my message to you. We're still here after 250 years. And nobody who has ever led this country, including me, Lord knows, has ever been right about everything. You just have to try to be right most of the time, be fair to everybody else all the time, hurt people as little as you can, and help people as much as you can. You can do that. We're going to be fine, I think. But it's as much about what kind of people we are and whether we read all of that Constitution and all of that Declaration of Independence. We the people. Who is that? We're fighting over that today, right? Don't let some of those people in. That's bull. We the people should be anybody who believes and qualifies. That's how we're going to form our more perfect union. You. I look out there at this crowd. I can see enough of what's in your eyes and on your heart to believe that if tomorrow were my last day on earth, we'd be in pretty good shape. You could be trusted to try to make our union more perfect. So that's all I ask of you. I don't care. I mean, I care, but it's not important who you vote for or what you think, as whether you play the game with an honest and happy heart. Be a citizen who tries to think about how we can manage all our differences and have better tomorrows. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The court now recognizes Dr. Victoria De Francesco Soto, Dean of the Clinton School of Public Service, to lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The ceremony is about to be adjourned. First, you can all be seated. The ceremony is about to be adjourned. However, I ask everybody to remain in their seats for some time. I'll let you know when that time is over, while the president takes a group photo with the new citizens. Please, we're asking nobody take any photos or videos with your own phone at this time. There's a photographer for us to do that. So if everybody else would remain seated while the president does that, that would be super helpful. Oh, don't apologize. Come on. Do what you need to do.
Okay, everybody right here.